Never attribute to malice what can be adequately explained by incompetence. That's the title of this video, and if there is one takeaway from this whole spiel, it should be that line. But since you clicked on this video, let's take a deep dive into what I mean by that. I've caught myself doing this countless times throughout my life, and I'm sure that you have too. You're driving down the road and someone cuts you off, or you're walking in the grocery store and someone wanders right in front of you with their cart, making you stop in your tracks, waiting for them to pass. What do you normally feel in those moments? I can tell you with complete honesty that my default reaction is complete fucking rage. I guess that's where the term road rage comes from, obviously. But when someone hinders you in any way from getting to where you're trying to go, I think the default reaction for most people is that of anger, frustration, confusion, all wrapped into one burst of emotion. Who can blame me though? I'm only living my life inside of my own head, so naturally, anything that impacts me negatively should be considered as something negative, right? Well, that's where I'm going to try and change your mind. If you're new to this channel, I like to explore a variety of different topics, and a lot of them are societal, psychological, or interaction-based. If you guys enjoy that type of content, consider subscribing and dropping a like to show your boy some support. So yeah, the example that I just gave about someone physically cutting you off in traffic or the store, it can be principally translated to pretty much anything in life, meaning that same underlying principle can be extracted from one action and placed onto many others. Someone says something seemingly rude in conversation, someone looks at you a little funky in public, they don't take out the trash when you ask them to, whatever the situation is, this same principle can be applied to all of it. Never attribute to malice what can be adequately explained by incompetence. I am someone who thinks that people generally try to do the right thing, or at the very least, they generally try to avoid to do the absolute wrong thing. That doesn't make their choice or action 100% logically the correct thing to do, but ultimately we are all imperfect, so who cares? The thing that actually matters here is that people are all living their own lives inside of their own head, so they are naturally the center of their own world. I said that earlier about myself. That is completely natural, albeit a good way to live. No one else is going to ever experience your life from your perspective, so why not make it all about you? Now, saying that obviously comes with a lot of caveats, but the point that I'm trying to make here is that I don't think most people consciously or actively make decisions to sabotage or impede the lives of other people. That would be malice. However, I do think that most people make a lot of decisions while only thinking about themselves. That would be incompetence, or ignorance is another word. Sure, there are plenty of times when someone can be deliberately rude and actually consciously do something to piss me off, but most day-to-day interactions, you probably can't 100% definitively label them as that. So most of these interactions occur with people who you do not know and who you probably won't even speak a word to. So I think it's safe to say that most of these day-to-day interactions fall in this sort of gray area of not knowing whether that person is being intentionally rude or is actually just ignorant. Most times you have no way of knowing for sure, so why not lump them all in that gray area? The reason why I say that is because if you do actively decide to lump all of these potentially rage-inducing interactions into this sort of gray area, then that gives you the ability to decide how you want to react. It gives you the ability to curb your impending ball of rage rising from the pit of your stomach and say, maybe that person didn't actually mean to spite me, and instead they're just being a little incompetent or a little ignorant. It allows you to essentially write off a potential personal qualm that you would have with a random stranger for the rest of your day, taking up a portion of your mental capacity and ability to feel happiness. And it also allows you to just forget about it and move on. And you can even backtest this with people in your own life who you regularly talk to. Seriously, most people don't like to do this, but when you have a negative interaction with your friend or family member, I can guarantee that the majority of the time when you voice your feelings and explain how what you thought the other person did was rude or unjust, 9 times out of 10, their response will be, "I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking about that," or "I'm sorry, that wasn't my intention at all." And you can then associate that with the random people who you don't have the ability to have that conversation with. You can assume that the majority of negative interactions you have with someone else can simply be chalked up to them probably not trying to intentionally piss you off, and they were just a little incompetent or ignorant in that moment. Now, life gets a whole lot easier. You might find yourself like you are now living in a world of idiots and everyone is inferior to you, but that's another mental battle to try and overcome, because I've realized that just as much as people unintentionally hinder my life or piss me off, I probably do the exact same thing dozens of times per day and I'm just completely unaware of it. And if I am unaware of it, then other people probably are too. That's it. It's just a little mental switch and rephrasing of a common reaction to a common interaction. Never attribute to malice what can be adequately explained by incompetence. Try it out for yourself and let me know what you think. But I can speak for myself in saying that it has led to a much healthier mindset and the ability to just feel happier overall. All right, it's been your boy Schmib. If you guys liked today's video, please drop a like, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts, and consider subscribing so you guys can stay up to date on videos like this one in the future. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.